At this time, we would like to call on to the Honourable Prime Minister Skerrit to address us this evening.
Hello, good night. How are you? I'm happy to be here. I came to Stock Farm on Saturday, and as a result of my visiting Stock Farm on Saturday, I am back here on Wednesday evening, and I met with some young men, and we were engaging ourselves in issues both national and local. And I decided to come here so we can engage ourselves in further discussions. So I'm very happy to be here this evening. Let me first of all recognize the presence of Honourable Julius Timothy, the Member of Parliament for Roseau North, Honourable Dr. Colin McIntyre, Minister for Employment, Honourable Ambrose George, Honourable Alvin Bernard, Dr. Peters, the President of the State College. We have our councillors, Councillors Walsh and Councillor Ito, Mr. Sherman Boston, Dr. Christian Ujerifas, businessman and philanthropist, Mr. Francis Emmanuel, and of course the wonderful people of the Small Business and Employment Agency. Ladies and gentlemen, the media, friends all, good evening. I first want to commend people like Clem and Leslie and my friend Etienne, who is originally from Penville but has been living here for a long time. Miss Coffey, Miss Francis, and Annette, I know her as Annette, for the wonderful job you're doing in maintaining the State College facilities. I came in here today and I'm very, very much impressed with the level of work you're doing to maintain these premises. And it's not only about maintaining it, but the pride with which you take. You know, and that is important because the government has invested in excess of $33 million in this facility to help educate the children of Dominica in a facility that is conducive for learning. And see where we are this evening. And this is also a facility which belongs to the people of Yam-Pace and Stock Farm. And I am happy that you have taken ownership of it and to ensure that it can last us for a lifetime. Because there are many parts of the world, countries that are even much more advanced than us, who would love to have such a facility to provide education to their children. But this government saw it necessary to invest in our young people by providing the best facilities you can find anywhere in the world. And you can recall, myself in particular and the government in general, were very much criticized for contracting a loan to construct not only the State College, but the State House and the 60 apartment units that we're now building in Bath Estate and Emsor. But you must have, to lead the country and to lead any institution, you must have a vision. And you must put your hands to the wheel in formulating that plan, but also more critically, finding the resources, the money, to do what is required for the advancement of this country. Dr. McIntyre mentioned about the National Employment Program. I went to Venezuela and negotiated money to pay for this program. And it will cost us for 1 year in excess of $7 million to finance the National Employment Program to create jobs for young people and adults alike in Dominica. This is not a pie in the sky offer. This is not the figment of anybody's imagination. This is not about words. It's about addressing a practical problem in a practical and tangible way. And so far, 262 young men and women have been fully engaged under this program. And all will get paid, and all shall get paid at the end of the month, because we have been able to negotiate the resources for them. So I will not come to Stockholm and tell you that in 2 or 3 years we'll give you between 5,000 and 7,000 jobs. We will not come to tell you that, because we know in the circumstances this is not achievable. In Barbados, whose economy is many times larger than ours, are sending hundreds of people home. They'll be targeting in excess of 3,000 people to be sent home in Barbados. Not because the government of Barbados does not like its people, but they simply cannot afford to pay the number of employees they have on the government payroll. You would have heard also the government of Barbados ended a program that it has had for over 40 years, providing the tuition payments to students attending the University of the West Indies. They had to stop it because they could not afford it. Because you are spending more than you're making. And once you're spending more than you're making, then we have to address something. So, what I would like the National Employment Program to do is to target certain communities in Dominica. Go into those communities, meet the people one by one, hear their views, find out why they're unemployed, know their skills level, and see how we can tailor employment initiatives in those communities to employ these people. And in particular, the single unemployed mothers of this community, and of course Dominica. Because we have to help them take care of the children. And all of them who I have met would like to be employed in some way or the other. So those of you who are here, please ensure that you fill out a form with the requisite information so that we can know where you are, who you are, and what is it that we can do to help you get employed. Today, I was at a press conference this morning at Clare Harbour, and Clare Harbour has announced publicly that it shall be providing employment this year for an additional 400 people at Clare Harbour. 400. Now, anywhere in the world you reside in, if any company could announce that they will be creating 400 jobs, that is music to the ears of any country in the world today, including the United States of America, the world's largest economy. Because the point is, in most cases, people are losing jobs. So just between the Clare Harbour and the government for its National Employment Program, setting aside all of the government's public sector investment programs, I'm not even including that. I'm not even including the investments in housing, the number of people who are employed through the housing project. I'm not even including the investments in agriculture and the number of people who are employed under the various initiatives and schemes in the Ministry of Agriculture. And we'll be targeting in excess of 500 people under the National Employment Program. 500 people. All of whom will be paid a salary by the government of Dominica. And we're doing so not because I said we can afford it, we cannot afford it. And that is why we had to go and seek funding from our friends in Venezuela. We cannot afford it. But we believe as a government that the number of young boys and girls who have gone to university, who have gone to the college, who have gone to high school and have done well, we owe it to them to recognize their efforts by fetching employment for them. Because they have kept their side of the bargain by going to school and doing well. We, the government, have a responsibility to keep our side of the bargain by fetching employment for them. So even when Clare Harbour itself was negotiating, and we assisted in negotiating with the companies that were coming, giving them a case for Dominica, to say that Dominica is the best place to come to bring your business. And Clare Harbour is the best company in the Caribbean and the world to give your business. We did not sit, when Clare Harbour decided to send home 243 people, we did not sit on our hands and cry and say, well, what am I going to do? Or put our hands on our head. We went out there to the United States. I went all the way to Colorado. I am not smoking, so I didn't buy any. They say ganja is legal in Colorado now, and so so. But we went out there to help look for opportunities for young people. While those in the opposition were happy, were singing on their radio programs, I do not understand how anybody in this country can take pleasure in somebody's misfortune. So if they hear there's plenty of poverty in Yampis, they're happy. If they hear the roads are bad in Stock Farm, they're praising. As if anything that is affecting people in Dominica, they're happy. Not saying, well, look, how can we help you better yourselves? And they can raise money because every dollar that they've raised is for themselves and for their own personal agenda. To fight cases against me and other ministers, they've raised over $500,000. Can you imagine what $500,000 could do here in Stock Farm and Yampis for you? How much of that $500,000 they brought here to help you, to help your children and to help this community? And I'm saying to the 32 young men who are working on the road project, you should go back to work tomorrow. The monies will be made available to Mr. Timothy to start the project. So you should go back to work tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. The 32 of you, the monies will be made available to complete this work. And I want to commend the young people in Stock Farm and Yampis, because for many years, people have sought to give these communities some bad name. And I keep telling people, I walk through these places and I don't see no troublemakers. I don't see no bad people in this place. I see people who are trying under difficult circumstances, confronting their families, to make life better for themselves and their families. And I must commend you for your efforts, though. You have done a remarkable job in improving your way of life. And the government must continue to assist you in reaching to the point at which you have set yourself. So I know you have to complete the road that we started, and you've done a fantastic job there. And I believe there are 2 other roads lower down in the community which must be completed. So let us move ahead and do these roads and ensure that all people can get employed. And I will say to Councillor Walsh that once these roads are completed in that section, we will do the road at Stock Farm, heading to the prisons. We'll do this complete road and so forth. I had a meeting today again with the college, with the management and the board of the college. This college was created in 2002 to increase access to higher education for young people. And in large measure, the government of Dominica, the Treasury of Dominica, has been underwriting the full expense of running the college. But with increased enrollment, you will see an increase in administrative costs. Every year we give to the college about $3 million. And I have given a commitment to the college that we will make an increased contribution of $1.2 million annually to the college, taking the amount, taking it from $3 million annually to $4.2 million. All of this get towards ensuring that our students can not only gain access to the college, but have the means of taking advantage of the access. So it is all left to the young people. We have invested in excess of $33 million in this facility. You have all the teachers you need to teach you, the lecturers. And the college has 99% of the money it needs now to teach you and to make sure that you are in school. I see Dr. Peters laughing. He's happy about that. We have made this commitment to the college not because we have the money there, you know. So don't get me wrong, don't think that we have the money there and the only problem Skerrit has is that he doesn't know what to do with the money he has. That's not true, you know. The demands are here and the resources are down there. It is in large measure by the grace of God that we're able to raise the resources that we need to implement what the people of Dominica has asked us to do. But it is also because of the passion and the compassion of this government that we have been able to implement a number of the initiatives that we have implemented so far in Dominica. And sometimes in my own personal reflections, I ask myself, but where were the governments in all of these years not to address these issues? We had to literally start from scratch in many instances to addressing some of the challenges confronting this country. So we're committed to assisting the college in reaching out to as many students as possible in Dominica. And this is the only campus, college campus in the Caribbean where you have universal access to the internet. And I understand many of you here in Stock Farm and Yampis are accessing the college internet and so forth. Because I told them to leave it for you and so on. Don't take it away from you and so on. So, do not take it away from you. As a matter of fact, I think we should extend it further down into the communities and so on. So there is universal access to the internet on the campus here. These things did not just happen. It is on the instructions and decision of the government. So you don't have only 25 students at one time having access to the internet. Every single student at the college and lecturers and staff have access to the internet at the same time. anywhere on campus. This is the next level, my friends. When we speak about the next level, that is the next level we're talking about. By taking us from a little untidy room of the State College, where we would have to be sweating and have big towels and so on, wiping our faces and so forth, to a place that we even feeling cold, very cold inside there and so on. That's the next level we're talking about. And I understand also, while we've assisted several of you under the housing program, there is still a huge demand, and the Parap and I will be working on providing additional resources towards addressing some of the challenges here. And as it says, you know, sometimes your name may not show up on the first list, but it means that your name is closer to being addressed. So as we go along, we'll be addressing the situation, because we spend a lot of money across the country helping to improve people's housing. We've been criticized by saying it is handouts, but we see it as an opportunity where the government can assist families in improving their way of life, improving their housing, bringing washrooms to people, giving you an extra room so your boys and girls could be in separate rooms. Taking a little kitchen from outside and attaching it to the house, so when you wake up in the morning, if it's raining, you don't have to go out to make a little coffee. It is not because we have an obligation to give housing to people, because that's not really a responsibility of the government per se. But because we recognize, without the help of the government, there are many families in Dominica who will not be able to improve their housing. And for some of you, for decades, you were squatting on government land. And we always maintain that squatting is not a legal thing to do. But we understand why many of you had to squat in the first instance. You wanted to have a little shelter for your family. You go and you put a little boundary and you put a little house, and bit by bit you buy a few blocks, and as you go along, you get a little pickpockets, you put a little block, you buy a little bag of cement, and you start a little something. But you could not go to the banks or the credit union, even if you had a little money there to improve yourself. And there were governments who wanted to keep you in that bondage of squatting, so that when elections come around, they will threaten you. And they'll tell you, if you do not vote for them, they will kick you out of this land. We wanted you to be independent and to make independent choices and decisions for yourself by giving you the land. So, Timothy can't tell you to come out of the land anymore. Skerrit can't tell you to come out of the land at all. That land belongs to you now, because your name is on the certificate of title, and nobody in the world can take it from you. But more importantly, was that many of you went to the credit union and to the bank and got a loan on the basis of your title. Because while we sold it to you at $1, and in some cases in lower Yampis, I believe, 2 something, and that's something we have to look at, Mr. Timothy. We have to review. The value of the land in many instances is as high as $8. So the bank will take the value of $8 rather than the $1 which the government sold it to you at. That was all geared towards empowering you, giving you, the ordinary working class people of Dominica, a piece of Dominica. And we have regularized thousands of Dominicans across the country. These are the things that we have been doing for the people of Dominica. But if you listen to some, they will say Skerrit has done nothing for Dominica. We just set up a mammogram at the hospital and many other very important pieces of medical equipment. Before 2005, we never had an intensive care unit in Dominica. 2005 was just the other day. And an intensive care unit is a critical part of the health services. Having this or not having this will determine whether somebody dies or lives. And based on the statistics of the number of people that have gone through the ICU and whose lives have been prolonged or saved, based on what the doctors are saying to us, one can only imagine how many of our relatives and friends died because we had no ICU in Dominica. And we are at the final stages of the finalization of the plans for the new hospital. There's some changes we have to make to it. There's some functional issues of functionality and so forth that we're making changes to it. We're getting the advice of some experts. But this will be a brand new hospital given to us by the People's Republic of China. As we speak, we have about 5 to 7 young Dominicans at various universities across the world doing their postgraduate studies, specializing in various fields, paid for by the government, with the hope that they will come back to Dominica and take responsibility for the provision of improved health care to our citizens. So we're not looking at a problem and just sitting there. We do pray, but with prayer you have to work. You have to do what you have to do. So yes, we do pray, but we also put our hands to the wheel and do what we have to do to help better this country. A lot has been done, but we still have a very long road to travel towards addressing all the issues confronting our people. But when we work together, and I take note of the quotation read by Mr. Boston about community, about we working together towards addressing challenges confronting us. We have to join forces. Yes, Mr. Timothy can come in and provide the resources, but who will be present to do what is required with the money? And to ensure that when it is done, that we show appreciation for it by maintaining it. And I want to commend Mr. Timothy for empowering the young men and women in Stock Farm and Yampis by demonstrating the confidence and trust in them to be able to handle the infrastructural development of these communities. And I can tell you what I saw on Saturday is top class work. And if you were to put a real figure to the work done, it will be about 3 times more than what the government spent to do these roads. My only comment when I came to the team was that, boy, look a wide road, boy. Anything can land in that thing there. You know. But we have to work, we have to increase, Tim, our housing assistance in those areas and so on. We need to spend much more money there. And maybe target these communities and let us address once and for all. There's some young men whose homes were affected by the storm, by some slides. We have to help them out, you know, and there are many single mothers there who have come to us, and I see some of you in the audience and so on. But we need to increase the pace of reaching out to these people. And we stand committed to that, my dear friends. Okay? So, We're not here to talk about people. We're not here to attack people. We're not here to give any MIP or anything. We are here, and all of us have spoken. We're here to speak about issues that are affecting you, that are affecting the country, and what can we do together towards addressing them. And all the young men I met on Saturday, great ideas, very bright fellows. They spoke to me about housing. They spoke to me about jobs. They spoke to me about small business support. They spoke to me about agricultural investment. At no time did they mention anything about guns to me. But people who go and talk about these things are people with no idea or no vision for this country. They have no plans for this country. It is just empty talk where they go to America and the only thing that they can send back is some photograph standing in front of some big house or big building in Washington, D.C. I even understand that some of them took some snow and put in a bottle and freeze it and try to bring it back to Dominica to show their friends that they were in fact walking in snow in America. They say they went to Cuba and they were well received and so forth. They can't show you one picture yet, you know, of who they met and where they met who they met. You know, and I will give another joke, but not tonight and so. But I am very happy to be here. And we have to help you. We've been doing some work in these areas, but we have to certainly help the struggling families of Yampis and Stock Farm. And we stand committed to that. I said, Chairman, we could start back work tomorrow. Mr. Timothy will get the first check by Friday morning to continue the project. And I want to say very publicly to the National Employment Program, I want to see a special program for Yampis and Stock Farm. You know, let us find some ways. There's some of them who told me they want to do a little shop, they want to get some supplies, they want to do some things and so forth. They have ideas. We need to help them realize their dream and fulfill their ideas and so forth. I thank you very much for listening to me. May God bless you and may God bless our country, Dominica.